I'm Bryce Johnson here at the ManUp Conference in Charlotte. And right now, Mike Tomlin joins me. He's the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers and has been since 2007. They won Super Bowl 43, and Coach Tomlin became the youngest head coach in NFL history to lead his team to a Super Bowl win. He's a husband and a father and a graduate of William and Mary. He's been instrumental in bringing ManUp to Charlotte after years of doing the conference in Pittsburgh, and he's here to speak to the men today. Mike, thanks so much for joining us. How are you?
Man, I'm great. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Man, we're excited to have you. And before we talk ManUp, we got to talk off-season football. So how's the team looking? What's the off-season OTAs been like from your perspective?
Man, the team looks great. We're undefeated. Nobody scored on us yet. It's beautiful. Now, it's a good time of year. I believe that all coaches probably feel the same way, and players too, for that matter. It's nothing like good, clean beginnings. And so we're just laying a foundation for our season. Guys are working hard. Guys are in great spirits. The work has been really positive.
What was your maybe main focus heading into this offseason following last season?
You know, I don't know that I ever go into it with a specific focus relative to what happened a year ago. I always try to be forward in my thinking and trying to forecast what the team needs and the makeup of the group for 18. And so it's been a fun process. We retooled some people in the secondary, some young people through draft and free agency. That's been an exciting process to watch them kind of come together. But it's fun. We're just really now in the beginnings of it. We got another week or so of OTAs. We got a mandatory mini coming up here in a couple of weeks. So those things will be significant in terms of defining what this spring has been like.
That's awesome. Coach Mike Tomlin with us on Unpacking It and helped get ManUp going in Pittsburgh and now bringing it to Charlotte. So what was your main purpose to get involved, and why are you so passionate about this specifically?
I developed a friendship with Pastor Ed Glover many years ago when I first got there. He does an urban youth ministry in Pittsburgh, and we've been able to come alongside him and help him with his ministry and be actively involved with the lives of young people in that community. And, you know, we all come from backgrounds, man. I come from a broken home, and as a parent, as a husband, as a father, coming to grips with what that's meant in my life and how that's affected me. And really, I just had a desire to be the best husband and father I could be. And oftentimes that's a difficult thing to do when you weren't looking at examples of it day to day.
Yeah.
You know, in childhood. Now, in hindsight, I had great surrogate fathers. You know, I had a stepdad that's awesome. My grandfather is awesome. Coaches and uncles and so forth. So the whole idea for me was about, first of all, working to be better and encouraging other like-minded husbands and fathers to do the same and getting encouragement from them. But also for those of us to look around us and to father and mentor the fatherless in our vicinity.
That's right.
The kid down the street, the kids in the community, much in the same ways that I benefited from my friend's dad or a guy that coached me in youth football or my grandfather. I want to encourage those men as well to know that the impact that they can have in the lives of kids around them. So really it was as simple as that. It's about having a desire to be better, having a desire to encourage others, and taking another step and maybe helping the fatherlessness in our community. So that's how it got started. You know, Pastor Glover and those guys with the ministry that they were doing, obviously the young people that they work with, many are fatherless. And so it was a natural thing, man. It's taken off, been blessed, had many years of success, and it just became really evident over the years that we had speakers come in. We've had speakers come in from a variety of communities. Derwin Gray is a pastor from Charlotte that came in and killed us a few years ago.
He's passionate.
Man, Derwin is the man.
He's good.
He's the man.
Yep, love Derwin.
And so it really started the process for us in terms of thinking about maybe this is something that we could take to other communities. And we just have so many powerful relationships in this community, and we know the heart of this community. It's been an awesome thing, and it's been an awesome thing to be a part of, and today has been a blessing.
All right, man. Well, we're glad to have you. And so even as you think about that concept of manning up and also the focus on the fatherless and those that have that need and desire, how does that play out as a head coach? And especially now later on in your career where you're not as close in age to some of these guys, but they're coming into the league, a lot of them fatherless as well.
You know, like any industry, unfortunately, in America, man, I work with a lot of people who come from broken homes. And as a dad, and particularly as a dad of teenagers, right now where I am in my life, I see the impact of that. I see what that does to young people over the course of their lives and stuff. And unfortunately, I've gotten to the point, because it's something that I'm keenly aware of, within 10 or 15 minutes of meeting a young football player, I say, man, that kid's fatherless. It is that evident to me.
Yeah.
You know, everything that you do is a platform for ministry. You know, those are grown men that I work with. I respect them, particularly in terms of the things that we're doing professionally. But I do understand that they're still young people and that they're growing in a lot of ways. And they're searching in a lot of ways in terms of how they want to live out their lives and the impacts they want to make and how they utilize the talents that they have and the blessings that they have to positively impact others. So it's been a cool thing to be able to help in that, to help them find that voice, to help them make sense of it all. You know, it's very evident to me, and it's probably one of the reasons why I've been moved to action.
And how do you balance that as far as the personal side of coaching and then the X's and O's and the on the field and wanting to coach them up well, to perform well, but more importantly, to have an impact on their lives?
There are no lines, to be quite honest with you.
That's cool. That's good.
If you want to have unique outcomes, if you want to be uniquely successful, you got to have unique relationships. It's got to be beyond professional. It's got to be personal. You got to know what make people tick, what their thoughts and concerns are, what their fears are, what their goals and ambitions are, and you know. So I've always kind of taken that approach in terms of building relationships with the men that I work with.
And how has your faith grown over the years, and even just your ability to incorporate it into your coaching? How has that changed or adapted over the years?
You know, it's funny. You know, I'm a head football coach, man, in the NFL. It's only 32 of these jobs. I'm not that good. None of us are.
Yeah.
Right?
I hear you.
There's got to be a bigger calling, right? We're put in these positions for very specific reasons. And I'm sensitive to that. I'm appreciative of that. Every day I ask, you know, what does God have in store for me? Hey, man, how does he want to utilize me in this position that I hold in an effort to do good, man, and good in people's lives, good in the community in which I live and work, what have you. I just try to be open to it. And that's not an easy thing. You know, we got a lot of things to do. We got a checklist to do this. And I understand that, but I try to move in that spirit.
That's awesome. Coach Mike Tomlin from the Pittsburgh Steelers with us in Charlotte at the ManUp Conference. I'm Bryce Johnson. You're listening to Unpackin It. And as we hear about ManUp today, and you talked a little bit about that concept, two things come to mind: being a husband, being a father. What's one word of wisdom when you think about being a husband? We'll start with that first, that you can share with the listeners today that you've implemented or have learned over the years.
Man, I work at deference. I love to defer to my wife, man. I look up the Webster's definition, man, the willingness to submit to the whims and wishes of others.
That's good.
I love to defer to my wife. You know, my boys ask me something, whatever she says. I try to lose as many battles as I can lose.
That's you know pretty good. That's well said. That is well said. Amen. That's good. That's great advice. So then on the other end, you mentioned being a father. What's been key to that role in your life, and for maybe a new dad listening today or somebody struggling as a dad, what's that key word of wisdom?
We all hate it. We all hate to acknowledge it, man, but you know, we're dinosaurs. You know, I work hard to learn what's going on with them, the things that are important to them, how technology changes their outlook in life and things. It is something that I work extremely hard at because I am forced to, not only as a dad, but professionally. The professional coaching, really, you're a teacher. And so you got to utilize tools to capture moments, to teach lessons. And so over the years, I've seen that these young men, and they learn in different ways. Different things capture their attention. And I think that's helped me as a dad. I'm always open to growing and understanding and working to understand why they see things differently than me. And so, that's been fun and challenging, both at the same time.
That's awesome. Last question for Coach Tomlin, and we love talking sports and faith here on Unpacking It. And so when you think about your kind of faith, where you're at right now, what's maybe something that God's been teaching you recently? What's been on your heart most recently, personally?
Just prayer.
That was Miles McPherson's response.
It's funny. The older your kids get, man, prayer as a solution.
That's right.
You just see it with greater clarity. When they pull out of that driveway in that vehicle, man, what else you gonna do?
That's right. You gotta let go and pray.
What else you gonna do?
Yep.
And the older your kids get, man, the scope of their movement and how their life is, they get more distance from you. And just as a dad, man, that's the solution.
That's good. Amen. That's the solution for everything. That's right.
That's all I got for them, man. I can't drive the car for them.
Nope. As much as you'd like to.
As much as I'd like to.
Yeah.
I think that's what dadding teaches you. Just as a man of faith, man, it's just confirmation for me that that's what's real, because that's what I got.
Amen. That's good.
You know it.
We'll end it on that note. Wish you the best this season with the Steelers.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here in Charlotte and for helping make this happen. And so we're pumped about it and thankful to be a part of ManUp Charlotte here at today's conference. Mike Tomlin, head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm Bryce Johnson. You're listening to Unpacking It.